So I finally mustered up the courage to talk to this girl in my class, right? And I ended up getting her number, and I arranged a meetup, right? And we went out to lunch, and then we were talking, and I was like, yes, finally, I did. I talked to this girl, I asked her out, or whatever. You know what I mean? And while I was there, and I just felt like something was wrong. I felt like I was really having a tough time connecting with her on like creating like an emotional connection, just having a good conversation. We were talking about all these different topics, and we were talking about like what we had in common, and we had a lot of things in common. And like we liked the same shows. We were both like mixed and things like that. We had the same major, and even still with all these similarities, it just felt like something was off. And after the conversation was done and after we parted ways, I just didn't really feel good about the interaction, right? And that was upsetting, right? And then I went out with my day, and then when I went to eat at a dining hall, I ran into another girl I knew, and I just sat with her, and we were talking, and we actually ended up having a really good conversation, right? And I was like thinking in my mind, like, what's going on here, right? Why is it like when I was talking to a girl that I liked, right, that I had so much trouble connecting with them, and then now I'm just talking with another girl that I don't really like in like a romantic way, just like as a friend, right? Why can I have a good conversation, right? Like, and then I remember when I've seen online, like there's like memes about this, like TikToks about this. They're like talking to like a girl you're not attracted to, and they're like, they're having a good time, and then talking to a girl you're attracted to, you're like, like, oh no, you know what I mean? Like, well, why is that? I had to ask myself, why is that? I think it's it's largely a part of like the intentions that you have, the mindset that you're in going into a conversation, right? Because with the girl that I liked, right, I'm going in with the intention of trying to impress her, right, or trying to come across a certain way to get her to like me back, right? But I realized like that's like not the right way to go about things, right? Because if you're trying to like be with attract a romantic partner, right, you would want someone who likes you for you, right? So it doesn't make sense to try to impress someone. It makes sense to be yourself, because you'd want someone who likes you for you, right? Not so, that makes sense. So with the person who was my friend, when I was chilling with her, like I didn't really care too much like about impressing her. I was just being myself, and I ended up just having like a really good conversation in general, and just we both felt happy afterwards, right? So it's like with the girl that I liked, like if I was just being more of myself and just didn't really care about like what she thought of me really, would that have changed things and how things went? I don't know. But I definitely know that if I wasn't like thinking about trying to impress her, right, then I definitely would have had a better conversation, and I would have felt better during the whole conversation, because I'm not coming from that mindset. Because when you're thinking or trying to think logically during a conversation, it really will like hold you back. Like if you're thinking, how can I get this girl to like me, or what should I say, or what should I do now, right? You're not present in the moment, right? Because one thing I've realized is a lot of conversation is just about being present and tuning into your emotional side, not necessarily your logical side, right? Because I would consider myself a very logical person. I'm always thinking like, what should I do, or what are the best habits, what are the best things that I need to do to reach my goals, right? When it comes to a conversation, like if you're thinking about these things, what you should say, this and that, you're separated from the person. You're in your own head. You're not here where the conversation is at. If they say something and you're thinking something else, you're not going to be able to react to what they're saying or what they're trying to communicate. Your expressions are going to be a little bit off because you're not even really paying attention. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's so funny because like I'm out here researching. Oh, how can I do this? How can I get better at talking to people? How can I make them feel better, or whatever? How can I get them to like me? But what you have to do is stop thinking about all that and just be present in the moment and let your brain cook. You know what I'm saying? Like let yourself cook. Let your brain come up with what to say. You know what I mean? And a good analogy for this is freestyling or improvisation, right? I started going to a freestyle club, which is like when you're just rapping, like making random rhymes, playing Fortnite all the time, always on the grind. You know, you're just randomly coming up with rhymes and rapping to a beat, right? If you're thinking about what to say next, it's gonna be very hard to actually like to freestyle because you have to think of everything beforehand. But if you just let loose and you just start saying whatever comes to mind in your brain, you just let your brain just flow, you're actually gonna do so much better. And that's how you actually get good at freestyling, is you just become a person whose brain is able to naturally just come up with things on the fly. You know what I mean? It's the opposite of, writing everything out, writing everything bar for bar, you know what I mean? In conversations, you can't just write an entire script, right? You can't do that. You have to literally on the fly just come up with things to say and be in the moment. And the way you do that is by being present. And one way, or being mindful, right? And one way to practice being present and mindful is through meditation, which pretty much is the way, it's a practice in which you focus on something, right? And the common way to meditate is to focus on your breath, right? So every morning I wake up, I get an app, and I have a timer for 3 minutes, and I just focus on my breath. So I go, you can see a breath in, a breath out, right? And I just focus as much as I can on this breath, right? And if you were to try this practice, meditation, right, you notice that very quickly your thoughts will arise. You'll start thinking about something else. You'll start saying, this is not really working, or how much time is left, right? You're gonna immediately, very fast, gonna get all these thoughts, and then you're gonna be like, oh man, now I'm distracted. Oh man, this doesn't work. But the whole point of meditation is to accept that, and accept that these thoughts are coming in to your brain, and then get back to focusing on the task at hand, which is your breath, right? So you get this negative thought, now I go back to my breath. You get another negative thought or a random thought, and then you see it, instead of like engaging with it and getting upset that it happened, you get back to your breath. And it's this refocusing onto the present moment that will improve your mindfulness, right? And will improve your day-to-day. So like in a social interaction, right, when I'm talking to someone, I noticed that because I've been meditating and practicing mindfulness, I've noticed that I started thinking about something else, or I started looking around the room instead of focusing on the person right in front of me. So because I had that meditation practice, when they're talking to me and I'm looking away, I'm like, oh snap, I gotta go back and look at them, you know what I mean? Get back in the conversation. And it helps a lot. And I'm really just trying to figure out like how to cultivate as much mindfulness as I can throughout the day, because mindfulness is useful in everything, not just in social situations, but also when it comes to like focusing on work or like going through your daily routine. Because I find right now a lot of the time I've been spending a lot of my time thinking just about things, about goals, about things that happen to me, and it's not always good, right? It's not always good to think, because when you're thinking, like you're not really doing anything. You're just like idle, right? But as a person on self-improvement and a person with all these goals, I need to be, I need to be putting in work. I need to be applying myself. I need to be focusing on things to actually succeed. And the more I think about these things, or the more plans that I make, it doesn't necessarily equate to success, because I'm not actually putting in the work if I'm spending so much time thinking. So like a good example is like before I go to bed, I spend like a couple hours just like up thinking, and it seems like it's a good thing, right? Because I get time to think and reflect, right? And it does have some value, right? But at the same time, I'm also like losing sleep because I'm just up thinking instead of actually like getting my sleep, which is important for my mood throughout the day, learning, and building muscle in the gym, all these things, right? So I need to like figure out how to be more mindful and focus on the task at hand, because I'm not always like going through my day mindfully, because sometimes I'm just just in my head and not focusing on what needs to be done, because I have like a calendar, and on Google Calendar it has like everything I need to do for the day, but like sometimes I just get distracted and start thinking about stuff or start researching something, and then I'm just like off my schedule. But yeah, honestly, I'm really like still learning about this, still learning about presence, and it's like a long way to go. It's a long journey. And right now I said that I'm only doing 3 minutes of meditation a day, and that's very short, right? Some people would say like, oh, you shouldn't do that. You need 10 minutes a day to see any results. But right now I realize like I can't really think about what other people would say or you know what I mean. I have to focus on my own progress, which is showing up to meditation, and that's the most important thing. Showing up every day for like months. Like I'm thinking like I'm gonna meditate daily for 3 minutes for like 3 months, 4 months, and then and only then when I do that, then I'll start increasing the time that I meditate to like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Because if I try to like start meditating for 10 minutes, then it's gonna be a lot harder to do than 3 minutes, and then I might do it for a week or a couple days and then just stop because it's like too much all at once. You know what I mean? And it sounds better to be like, hey guys, I meditate for 10 minutes a day, but I don't really care. I can't really care about, you know, what other people would think or what other people would say. So right now I'm starting small, focusing on 3 minutes of meditation, and hopefully that's gonna, or I know it will, it's gonna lead to more and more mindfulness down the line. And even there are days where like like I meditate for 3 minutes and I'm like totally in my head, totally like not even present at all. But even still, I know like I'm showing up, and that's what matters, and that it's like a lifelong thing. But presence is, yeah, I wanted to make a video about presence and being mindful because it's still something that I'm learning myself, and I'm interested to know what you guys think about presence, because I know there's a lot of people that I know who watch this channel, like my friend Xenon, who's really like into meditation and mindfulness, and it had a profound impact on their lives as well. So yeah, what do you guys think about mindfulness and meditation?